There was a period in my life where I thought my life was perfect and I had it all planned out. And then almost overnight, I lost everything. I had just gotten out of a long-term relationship, which was very difficult. This relationship felt almost codependent at times, where I sort of shut the rest of the world out. I just felt very alone during that time. I didn't have anyone that I could talk to, and I didn't have the support that I used to have because this relationship was my support, and it was all gone. Every year, the state gives out a very prestigious fellowship to 2 artists. I really sacrificed so much of my personal relationships, and I was just putting everything into it. And I really thought I had a strong portfolio, and I had applied several years in a row and learned that I didn't get in. The only one I had to turn to was God, so I started to pray to God and turn to Christ. I didn't understand why this was happening. I was doing everything right, and everything still went wrong. And then I came to terms with the fact that I was angry, like that this had happened. And I think when that happens, you can either sweep it under the rug or you can be really honest with God. And so I started being really honest in my prayers. And I think God appreciates an honest prayer. When I was going through that experience, I was praying for specific things to happen. I prayed every night for a long time. And so at some point, I switched my prayer to praying just to feel God's love and to feel his peace. And that prayer was always answered. During this hard time in my life, my studio was actually really close to where I lived. It was only 3 or 4 blocks away. And so I would walk home every night after I was done painting. And as I would walk home, I would think about what I was going through. As I was thinking about how to represent this part of my journey, I came up with this concept of doing a street similar to the one that I would walk home on. In this painting, you can see the footsteps as I walked in and out of these pools of light on my way home. These pools of light represent the times in my life where I could feel God's love, where small things would go right in my life that no one else knew that I needed, but God knew that I needed. And they were sort of the waypoints along my journey that really sustained me. The cozy home represents this safety and this warmth, and you're walking on your journey and you're not at that safety or warmth yet, but you're hoping to get there. In the window, I painted a tree, which for me represents Christ and his presence. Just to have that symbol that Christ is always there. My advice to anyone who's going through something similar or going through a difficult time is you may not understand why things are happening the way they are, and they may never be resolved the way you want them to. But if you pray to feel God's peace and his love, you will always be able to feel that. He knows you, and he knows really what will make you happiest, and he will lead you through these dark times to something better, something you didn't even expect, like he did with me. My life is, of course, not perfect, but I've learned that God often blesses us with what we need instead of what we want. I have the most amazing friends. My career is in a different direction than I thought it would be, but it's also unexpectedly better than I thought it would be. When people look at my piece, I hope they think about times where they've experienced similar things, and they think about the idea of a walk through darkness where God is lighting up parts of the way. When we go through similar things like this in life, we can choose to walk in the light of Christ, or we can try to do it alone. For me, in this experience, it made all the difference to invite Christ into this journey with me and to have him come with me as my support and my comfort